Right, welcome back, episode 10. We got the full cast. Laird's here, Rand's here, Tay's here, Cam, I am here. It is so good to see the full cast. I feel like I'm watching like the Brady Bunch intro right now with all the swears and
Right.
everything.
No, for real.
The Black Brady Bunch. This is great. The Robinsons.
Not the Robinsons.
How's everything been though? Have you guys been following March Madness or following all season football, which I've been keeping an eye on basketball?
Yeah, March Madness. That's where I've been at because I hardly watched any basketball this year. So finally, some of my picks turned out to be true. Some of them not so much. Uh, but yeah, March Madness is where I've been at.
Okay. Is your team doing good? I'm assuming you're going for your alma mater.
No, actually, they're terrible at basketball. They weren't even invited. Yeah. They were invited when? They were invited 2 years
I
ago.
remember like
I think.
2019 or 2018 or
Yeah.
something they were.
Yeah, they got invited on a consistent basis for like 2 or 3 years. But they were not. No, I've got Florida right now, I think. Yeah, Florida's my championship team. I think that they're pretty solid.
Been a minute since they were
Okay.
running.
Okay.
Yeah, I just like a value.
Ray, you a Florida Jet. Who you going for?
Honestly, I'm not even keeping up with the March Madness shit. On the men's side, I'm more so interested in the women's side. 'Cause that shit right there,
Women's, I also did a bracket as well. Yeah,
women's is
between
going
what
crazy.
I think USC
Okay.
and
Got
and
USC,
somebody.
UCLA, got fucking UConn. Excuse my French.
Mhm.
You got UConn. You got
Dude, who was the girl on UConn who was balling? She dropped 19 in the fourth quarter. I'm like, yo, people can't even drop 19 in a game.
you talking about Paige? Yep.
Age
They do
Yeah,
Booker.
she
quarters
was
in the
My
women's
she was
girl.
college.
cooking. Yeah, she was cooking.
Wait,
I am
speaking
not.
of women's basketball, did y'all see Juju tore her ACL?
Yes.
No, did
Oh,
she?
She tore her
yes.
ACL. My heart
Was
was
that
Yesterday?
Jaden Daniels' mom that did it?
Yeah.
Too soon? Too soon?
I don't think it
Sorry, go
was.
ahead. Do your reporting. Do your reporting, Tay. I'm sorry. Too soon. Go ahead.
I mean, it's not much reporting. It's just I saw, on Twitter that she had gotten hurt and everyone was saying, oh, it looked really bad and this and that. And then the next day, all these reports came out that she tore her ACL and like playing soccer growing up and in high school, college and everything, tearing your ACL was like the biggest fear. And as much as she was balling this year, it broke my heart. Like that is so hard to come back from and be the same. And that fear just never leaves you. Even like I've never torn my ACL, knock on wood, like bless up, but seeing girls try to be the same player that they were prior to that, it's a completely different mentality. So my heart just broke for her. My heart goes out to her, and I hope that she makes a full recovery and can still be the same basketball player and kind of not even lose a pep in her step at all. But that one broke me. I was like, damn.
So
And
what
when did
happened
this
with her
happen?
Yeah.
This happened
injury?
yesterday?
No. This
No.
was I want to say Thursday or Friday,
Oh,
if I'm
damn.
not mistaken.
Oh.
It was a couple days ago. And
Yeah.
yeah, I was like,
Beginning of the game, she had already was like favoring her knee because she had kind of hurt it, and
mhm.
instead of the
Mhm.
coach pulling her out, like she kept her in, and she went up for a fast break layup. Oh, girl, just so
So it was the
happened to
same
hit
knee
her in
that
the
she
knee.
was favoring.
It was a right knee.
Oh, damn.
Oh, girl hit her in the knee on accident while she was going up, and as soon as she goes up, like you kind of seen it too. Her knee like looked kind of funky, and she came down and immediately grabbed that shit and was just like, "All right,
Mm,
done." They had to literally pick her up and carry her to the locker room.
mm,
And it wasn't
mhm.
even USC's locker room they carried it to. They had to carry it to the other team's locker room. That's
Oh,
how
yeah,
bad it
'cause
was.
mm,
Yeah. When I
okay.
say like the entire basketball world too, they was like just like shocked. They was shocked. Because like Tay was saying, oh girl was balling this year. She had like 1,600 points plus points.
Oh, shoot. Dang.
Yeah, she beat out Caitlin Clark for number 2 for number 1 in like her second season of balling your points. So,
The one thing, this shouldn't be the end for her though. At least like she should be able to still come back and play. Hopefully, she's not a shell of herself.
Yeah.
Because we've seen players, especially with the new technology, how it's forever evolving around ACL since that's such a common injury. We've seen players like Adrian Peterson come back and set a single season record. However, we've also seen Derrick Rose come back and be a shell of himself. So it really, Jamal Murray also had that ACL injury, which kept the Nuggets out. And then when he came back, they won it. So one thing is guaranteed, she'll be able to play again, and she will have an opportunity to compete. It's just a matter of, how close to what she is now will she be? And at this point, where there'll be a WNBA, them girls are talking about locking out. If there's a lockout, there's no comeback.
Oh, really? They're talking about that?
Yeah. We talked about that a little bit a couple podcast club episodes ago. But I feel like she needs to do what Paige did, because Paige had the same thing happen to her. She fucked up her I want to say it was her ACL too. But she had some kind of injury a couple seasons ago. So she sat out all last season. And then this season, look at her. She came out balling. UConn is
Yeah, I think the most important thing is just taking that time to like really listen to your body. If you're not ready, don't come back any sooner than you need to. I definitely have made that mistake in the past, thinking I'm good to go, just taping up broken toes and bones and things and just trying to play through it and never really healing properly. So hopefully Juju takes the time that she needs to really fully recover, listen to her body, take as much time off as she needs as she can, and come back full throttle. So prayers out to her.
Agreed.
Since Cam brought it up,
for sure. Go ahead. What did I bring up now?
Since you bring up Jay Daniels and Juju with the mom, bro, that was the most shadiest thing ever she did, bro. like I talked to so many people at work about that. They was just like, why her? Like, why would you do that to Juju? Like, Juju actually got a future. Right. I can understand if you had like a Travis Hunter girlfriend trying to come up to her or something, but nah, like you got Juju, who's a baller, who's gonna probably be making not as much as him, but she'll be making some bread, So it's just like, let them be, let them be, Mom. But that job was crazy, and it's even crazier that she looked at the camera and was pointing at the camera, and she was like, "I know they talking about me," and I'm like
I can see the camera there. They all pointing at you. Y'all over here, key. I'm trying to get some fucking popcorn. But yeah, that was kind of crazy. That looked mad uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Have y'all ever had a parent cock block you like that? Your parent or like someone else's parent?
Heck no. Heck no.
That is crazy. He's grown.
Yep.
Hey, bro is in his mid-20s. He's grown.
His mom literally said, "Ain't nobody gonna mess up this bag."
Stay focused.
See what happened with your little friend Xavier. Huh?
But yeah, to his point, like she actually has made a name for herself on her own. Like she's not trying to clout chase or get a bag off of him. She doesn't need it from him. So I can understand. I don't know. I guess his mom wants him to stay focused and stuff. And obviously like and I think in the media too, when you get things talking, she probably just doesn't want his name in a negative light at all. Cause I even saw people saying like their age difference is like, I don't know. I don't know exactly what it is. I think she's 19 and he's 23.
That's not a big age gap.
It's not big at all.
They grown.
Right. So I don't really see a problem with it, but it's also like they're kicking it out of game. Like if there is something there or whatever, then yeah, it's nobody's business. But just let kids be kids. I mean, they're grown, but everyone's like, they're all smiles. Like you can see all their teeth.
And they're all from the same city. For all we know, they could have already known each other.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Like they could have already had prior interactions. Just Jaden Daniels, Bryce Young, and CJ Stroud. The three of them, they're all from that same area. And then I know Juju went to the same high school as LeBron, or Bronny at Sierra Canyon High School, where they just breed, D1 talent, future pro athlete. So for all they're all running in the same circles anyway. It's not that deep. It's like, Mom, he went to Arizona State. He was the quarterback and then transferred and was the Heisman winning quarterback at LSU.
Yeah.
Come on now. Like,
go Tigers.
Leave that man alone, bro. He grown. He grown. I'm sure there's been some stuff you didn't want to see. And I'm not mad that the mom is trying to protect her son. But like, yo, come on now. There's lights, cameras everywhere here. We at a game right now. Chill out, man. Like, damn, that's crazy. It's also crazy though. Ironically, it's only boy moms who can ever really like just
get away with
objectively see the evils of other women. There's no cushion words around it. There's no way to sugarcoat it to make it sound and try to, you gotta understand from a woman's perspective. Boy moms are no bullshit. They always can cut through the bullshit and see the bullshit some of y'all women be on. They're the only ones.
Yeah.
No, she was not playing that. Have y'all ever had to check your mom or any of your parents before?
About what? Like anything?
Just generally, like they were just doing too much and you was grown at this point. You was just like, yo, today's not that day. Today's not going to be the day.
No.
Yeah, I mean, I imagine that it probably happened. I mean, but there's a difference, right? Like, are you checking them respectfully or are you just like snapping off? Like, if you're checking them respectfully, like, hey, you're my parent, I appreciate your viewpoint, but calm down, you're getting a little too animated, like, that's all right. But, if you're on, like, if they're, being a parent, conducting themselves how they want, and you're like, hey, yo, chill the fuck out. No. No.
Which I agree with you.
I've came respectful. Yeah. I've came respectful before. Just like, with like differences and, opinion regarding whether it's like politics or like actually, a person, like a friend or a significant other or whatever. Yeah, just, I've done it, but I've maintained respect about it.
Yeah, same. Okay. Like I remember when I was moving into my like brand new like luxury apartment in Jersey, and it was really luxury because I had a brick wall. My mom came to help me kind of like decorate. She wanted to take charge. I love my mom to death, but she is the bedazzle queen, and I was like, I don't want anything sparkly in my apartment. And
that wasn't a sparkly type of apartment, y'all.
It's just like that's your vibe. That's not mine. I'm very, very modern, very, very basic, nice, chill. I'm a gamer. Like there's a certain aesthetic I want. And she was like, I don't like that there. And I was like, well, it's not your apartment. Like, I love you and I appreciate your help, but like, I need you to help me like hang things. I don't need you to help me pick it all out and design it yourself. I appreciate you being here. I love you to death, but please just let me do this. So yeah, like, little things like that where she kind of tries to take charge over something that like I kind of want to have control over because it's mine. And she wants to, oh no, I'll get this and I'll do this and I'll do that. And I'm like, all right, whoa. Chill, lady. I love you, but no. But that's about it. Always respectful.
Okay, that makes sense.
I'm gonna say I never had to. I think once I hit 18, my mom kind of was just like, "You're a grown ass man. Do what you want." So it was like, and then especially when I went off to the Navy, it's like she definitely was like, "What I'm gonna check you about? You definitely are, man. You've seen the world. I can't say shit to you. All I gotta say is wrap it up." Literally, that was my going away word for her. Just wrap it up.
Mama knows. Okay. Mama knows.
They be knowing.
Have y'all been paying attention to the NFL, these off-season trades and everything leading up to this draft this week?
Yep.
Bruh, the Giants for a moment looked like they were making a really smart decision, like a really sound decision. Okay, we're going to bring in Jameis Winston. we're gonna build a team around for a year or so. Maybe next draft we can get in a young quarterback. Then they bring in Russell Wilson like 3 days later, and it just looks like they're shooting for the fences now.
Yeah, I didn't
Yeah.
understand that. I was like, why do you need them both? Like, are you changing your offensive scheme? But even stuff like what offensive scheme are you gonna try to run? You know?
Yeah,
Like, what are you gonna do with two, I I would say high caliber quarterbacks? You know, yeah, I don't know what you're gonna do with both of them. Like, you're gonna make someone to the bench, or you're gonna try to do some weird like offset wing formation nonsense, whatever backyard football stuff people used to attempt.
I feel like they've tried to do
we're gonna see. Go ahead.
I feel like they're trying to do what Pittsburgh did last year, how they had Justin Fields and Russell. So they're gonna try to do the same thing with Jameis and Russell, but it's just like you said, you got two high caliber quarterbacks already. Like both of them are technically now at this point veterans in the game. So it's like you can't really, and if you don't got no weapons around there, you ain't gonna get fit. Like Russell Wilson was
And
as good as
that's
he
the
was,
thing, man.
you know.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, Russell was only good because he had weapons. Like Jameis was good because he had weapons. If you ain't got nobody, and then you still got to worry about your defense too, because that's what Cincinnati went through last year. They had all the weapons on offense, but their defense sucked. It was trash. So
Mm-hmm.
if you don't got no defense to actually stop and get you that ball back on offense, you kind of out of luck.
Yeah, I don't. The Giants, the way when I first saw the news with Jameis Winston, I thought it made sense. It was like, okay, you bring in Jameis, and now it's one of those approaches. You bring in the veteran journeyman quarterback who you can play, who can play. So now you can draft around him, draft a line, get your defense right, build a solid run game, and then get another quarterback in the future drafts or even in free agency, a young quarterback that you can be able to bring up around him as the backup so he can at least learn how to be a pro. Bringing in Russell Wilson, I just don't get it at all. Like,
Do you think it's possible that one of them might be a bargaining chip?
That's the only way I can make that make sense. Is it's going to be a bargaining chip in the future of the off season in order to trade away?
Yeah,
Because
that's
I've
the
seen
only
both
thing
of their
that
deals; they
possibly
weren't
makes
that
sense.
big. Yeah,
Yeah,
neither of them
exactly.
signed very
Yeah.
big deals. So it's like, all right, if no one takes you, we're not on the hook for a whole lot of money. But that's the only way I could see that is to be a sign and
Yeah.
trade.
Okay, good. So at least that's plausible because that's what I was thinking.
But then at that point, who's going to be the one that you trade? Whichever one they'll take at that point out of Jameis and
I
Russ.
guess.
Like,
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I figured one of them would be a bargaining chip. I don't know which one.
we'll take in both that we're comfortable if we have to move forward with either or of them, and we're comfortable giving
Yeah,
up either or
maybe.
of them, something like that.
Yeah, that might be the move. Yeah.
So then we can probably agree then them drafting Shador is probably off the table then.
Yeah.
Because if you
Wouldn't
have
be cheating for
both
them.
of those quarterbacks in your QB room, that almost seems like a waste of a pick that early on in the draft.
Yeah. Maybe
Get like a left
now they might.
tackle.
Yeah, I was gonna say maybe they might try to capitalize on having actual weapons, like pick up a receiver or something, or maybe a defensive player. I
Yeah,
don't know.
I mean, because anytime, be clear, anytime you get a quarterback in the draft, it is a gamble. They're unproven. Whereas Russ, we've seen 2 Super Bowls, 1 victory, MVP like season, and then with Jameis hasn't reached that peak yet, but he's shown he can compete in the league.
Exactly. Yeah, he can perform. Correct.
Whereas Shadir option, you would truly be starting from scratch, with a lot of outside noise. Yeah.
And it's just,
okay. So
it's
then,
not worth it right now. Somebody else would pick him, but I wouldn't if I was the Giants.
Yeah. They could have a Bryce Young moment.
But I mean, after Bryce Young got traded, he wasn't as terrible because we were in Charlotte.
wait, what happened with Bryce Young? Because I feel like whoa.
I think it
Now I'm
stinks.
lost.
I thought
Say
he
that
was still
again?
with Charlotte.
Huh? I said he
I thought
stinks.
Bryce was.
Yeah, Bryce. Oh, I thought you said he was with the Saints.
No.
I said he stinks. I said they drafted, like, there was so much hype around him, and
Yeah.
then he just underperformed. So I'm saying the same thing
Yeah.
could happen with Shador.
Okay, I thought you said he got traded or something like that. My bad.
No. I just meant, like, you pick a QB, you think that they're gonna, like, really get things going for your team, and then
Well,
it's
I said
Can we
traded.
be-
I said traded. Traded was the wrong word. He got what's the word? Not traded. Demoted. Yes.
Benched.
I guess
Yeah.
technically.
Yeah, you got benched.
Yes.
I gotta ask y'all, and I want to be clear when I ask this question. I am a fan of the Sanders family. I've always, my entire life, been a Prime fan. I'm a fan. I love what he's done with his sons. I love the position that he's been able to elevate them to. But I gotta ask the honest question: is Shadir? Do we think he is the hype? Like he is what the hype is. I know, Tay, you don't watch as much college football, but you watch football. I know you probably seen some highlights. But if not, Laird and Rand, I know y'all watch. And he's in a draft where we got SEC quarterbacks. We got quarterbacks who've played in playoff games, quarterbacks who have won national titles.
Mm-hmm.
He only has a couple ranked games in his cachet. Do we think that he is for sure the bona fide number one QB in this draft?
The number one QB in the draft?
Correct.
I wouldn't say number one. I don't think I would say number one. Top three, probably. Maybe top three definitively, but definitely not number one. No, I don't think so. Like he is an athlete, right? We can't ignore that. He is indeed an athlete. But like you said, he didn't have a whole lot of high profile games. His I don't know how well he performs with a lack of offensive weapons. And that's, the position that a lot of first year quarterbacks are in. It's like how do they perform when, your best wide receiver only has like 700 receiving yards or something. It's not anything great, right? So we definitely need to see how he performs when he doesn't have anyone. And also, when his dad is not going to be in his ear all the time, right? Because he's staying in Colorado. So it's like, he's going to have to be on his own. I don't know what the relationship is like because your dad is also your coach, right? So when you actually have a coach
Always has been.
who is not a father figure, and it's like, hey, this is a business deal. Like we're gonna talk, we can have some banter, but at the end of the day, like I'm coaching you, I'm telling you what to do. I want to see how well he's going to be able to respond to that. So it'll be interesting overall.
Yeah, I definitely
I agree. I agree.
He's not number one though. Like, he is talented, but he's not number one talented. Like they were saying, he was underneath his father this whole time playing. Now you're about to go underneath somebody brand new. Can you still perform that same way without your dad? And if so, then hey, kudos to you. But if you can't, it's gonna look real bad on your resume, dude. So, like, we'll see. Only time will tell. Go.
I guess and I definitely agree. I think objectively speaking, I think if he wasn't who he was, I don't know if his hype would be where he's a number one draft or number one QB conversation, just because I haven't seen him at that level yet. Arm talent wise, he's shown he can throw. He could definitely pass. However, again, I really only got to see him against HBCUs and the Pac-12 afterwards, like the Pac-12 Big 12 merger. You know, the only ranked teams really was like Oregon, which didn't really look that good. USC, I want to say, which also didn't look that good. But I wish I can see some film of him with another coach that wasn't his dad. Like if he was to go to the SEC and had played, you know, because even his brother got to play in the SEC and his brother was getting burned. You know what I mean? His brother still thuds like he's in the SEC when he's coming downhill. Pause. But when I look at Cam Ward and what he was able to do on his own, when I look at, you know, Will Howard with Ohio State, Quinn Ewers even, I got to see Quinn Ewers a lot in person. So I really can see. And I just don't see how Shadir is better than them because when it comes to arm talent passing, he's not better than those guys. And then when it comes to athleticism, we got to keep it a stack. Yes, he's Deion something. He does not run like Deion. He run like he got a bag of bricks in his pants or something. Like seriously, have you ever seen him run? He looked like he running with ankle weights. I don't know what his 40 time is, but he doesn't really break away like that.
And that was the other thing. Didn't he also not participate in the combine and pro day and stuff? Or am I misremembering?
I think
is
he
it
did.
that part? I'm not sure. Let me look that up because
I thought he sat out on something. He sat out on something. He was like, "Yeah, I'm not going to do that." I'm pretty sure it was him.
I know his brother didn't get invited to the combine, so he did his own pro day at the school. But as far as Shadir, I haven't been paying attention. I just know that, let's see. Let me actually answer that for you. It looks like he did go through the combine because they have all his stats and everything online.
Oh, okay.
Oh, did he? Oh, I guess I was incorrect.
Yeah, he ran. Say that one more time.
I guess I was incorrect then. I thought that he said he wasn't.
I thought I saw that too, honestly.
I did see that, but I don't see. Well, it's not showing his actual stats, so maybe he didn't do it, which for good
NFL.com says
reason.
Colorado QB Shadir Sanders won't throw at the 2025 NFL Scouting Combine. That's on NFL.com from what, last month?
I'm looking at it now too.
Wow.
Yeah, which I thought was a weird move.
Yeah.
Do you think that hurts his chances? Like
I understand it only because what did you say?
Like, do you think that like affects his place in the draft or like the views of coaches who are in front offices that are considering drafting him?
No, because players have said before and execs have said if the combine is really for people who don't really have names like that going into the draft, you can now be able to buy some stock. If you're a player who has had hype, but you may be a question mark, a wild card, let's say you're coming back from an injury, the combine's a good way to buy back that stock. But the other thing is if you're someone who you know how to play the sport of football, you are a good football player, but that combine shit just is not your strength, that can also hurt your stock too. So it's like for some players, and that's why I'm not surprised he did that, because in his chance, that would have been the only thing people would be talking about right now is him running like a 4.7 40. They're asking him to throw the deep ball in certain drills and he gets fatigued or something, and then it's not looking the way they want it to, or it's not a tight spiral. Like they're already picking apart him in every way they can. You've seen they already talk about his personality. Right. That combine wouldn't have been something to silence people. The way Deion, his father, for an example, legend had it. He got out the limo, he ran his 40 and got back out. Was like, nigga, I got a 4.2 in highlights. Y'all figure it the fuck out. Fumble me if you want to. You know what I mean? He doesn't have that type of athleticism, so it's like the combine would only really hurt him.
So I guess with that statement, do we expect in the future for more players of, high caliber and hype to not participate in the combine and leave it for the players who are a question mark or, just don't have as much hype around their names?
I think
Absolutely.
we've already started to see a little bit of that trend of players that are skipping it. And that's across all sports, NBA, NFL, all of it. I think, again, it really, it's not one of those things where it's going to be super common where everyone is going to want to, because some people really, like I said, that athleticism is going to buy them stock. They know that they can run that fast ass 40. Like Anthony Richardson had no business getting drafted as high as he did, but he did because he can run like a 4.3 40 as a quarterback.
And that
You know what I
ball that
mean?
he threw.
So exactly, like he has no business being that. He is an example of someone who should have stayed in the league. I mean, stayed in college another year. But I'm saying if you can say I started for an SEC team for at least a season, we had a winning record, and then you go out there and outperform a lot of people in the combine, that's going to help you. So it's really, yeah, it's such a case by case thing. I don't see it being necessarily a trend though. Like not everybody was that type of athlete where they're like, you know what I mean? Typically, it's the people who were just that cold blooded, where it's like someone like a Tim Tebow wouldn't have necessarily had to do it. Of course, they did, but you know what I mean? It's if you are a Trevor Lawrence, a Cam Newton, there are guys who if you ball out at a certain level, it's like, bro, check the tape. Check the film for real. I'll come in, do the interview process. I'll do the classroom portion. You want to see how well my knowledge is of the game. But other than that, doing this little fucking pony show for you guys, I'm good off that.
Pony show.
I'm not mad at it. I can tell you, I remember when what's the school? Sacred Heart, when I was in high school, right? I went up there to go do. They called me, reached out to me because of my film, asked me to come do one of their showcasings that they used to do at those colleges where kids get their scholarships. They always have you start off those things by doing combine shit, and then you go out and do the shell passing, all that good shit. During the combine shit, doing something you don't even do in the game. You know the shuttle run where you run back and forth, like, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. The 5-10-5 thing.
Yes. I fucked my ankle up because their turf was fucked up. They didn't get it replaced yet until the next year. So I didn't get to even compete in the rest of the shit. So there goes a chance of possibly getting a Scott. It's like that is how I look at the combine. It's like,
Yeah.
Y'all brought me here for film. Y'all brought me here for what you see me do. You're gonna bring me through this whole pony show shit and now possibly fuck myself up and then go, I don't know if he's really cut out to be such and such. Like, bro, at no point in the game does anybody bench 225 pounds 10 plus times. That's just not a thing. So we'll see though. We'll see what happens with Shadar. I don't think that combine is gonna affect them. I think it's more hype for sports media like us to talk about. I don't think people who really know what they're doing are giving a fuck. But I don't know. Tennessee Titans, they got the first overall pick. The Browns have the second overall pick. The Browns cleared house on QBs, and they've shown they don't know how to draft quarterbacks. And when they do, they can't keep them. And then you have Tennessee, who, I mean, oh man, they also can't keep stars. And I don't understand it either because Nashville's a fun city. Tennessee's a great state. People want to live there.
It's cheap.
It's cheap. I don't get it. But those are the two top picks. Are you guys seeing Shador go 1 or 2? Or you think it's going to be like one of the Heisman candidates like Dylan Gabriel and like a Quinn Ewers?
That's up for debate, honestly. I feel like it's hard to pick. In my opinion, it's hard to pick who do you think is going to go first in the draft. He'll definitely be picked somewhere. I mean, I'd probably say based on what this looks like, probably no more than maybe 12th at the most. That's my personal opinion, just based on like, the teams and looking at, what they may or may not need. Because I feel like whoever picks him is probably going to actually want to use him and not end up trading him. But that's just my thought. So I'd probably say, yeah, maybe at most, at the latest 12th.
It's been a while since I've seen teams do the draft and trade option. I feel like that was more common. We used to see like in like the 90s, early 2000s. I don't know if that was a trend
that's
or
what I was saying.
something for that specific time.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. I don't think it's actually going to be a thing.
I personally think the number one quarterback in the draft is Cam Ward, just off his resume alone.
Oh yeah.
And even not only that, I think even the bond that they have, him and Shedeur Sanders, with Prime getting them and around each other, going through different workouts, coach, all that stuff. I don't think any of that's by accident. I think they know that, hey, Cam is the best. If you want to be looked at as the best, you have to be able to compete with him. You should be training like him. But I think even they know Cam Ward is the best quarterback coming out of college right now. And I think he'll be a great fit for the Titans. I think he'll be the best player for the Titans since Steve McNair. Like if they bring him back and grow the team around him, I can see them turning into a playoff contending team. But that's just me. But I'm a fan. I'm sold on Cam Ward. I've been watching him. I seen him at Washington State.
Mm-hmm.
When he helped them have that turnaround season out of nowhere. And then to come to Miami, bring Miami football back, put them back on the map the way they did. They almost made the playoffs.
Yeah, they did. They definitely did.
Yeah.
Now they got
I think Cam Ward is that guy, personally.
Don't Miami not have a whatchamacallit, old boy from Georgia? Or is he in the draft?
Carson Beck.
Carson Beck, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he's just
correct,
got shit going on. He's got so much going on.
Because I don't think he's fooling himself. He may want to be in the NFL, but he knows he's not NFL ready. So he's like, you know what? Let me get this money in college.
Yeah, his last year wasn't very good compared to the year before that.
Because right now there are quarterbacks. I think not even just quarterbacks. Let me not be too hard on the quarterbacks, but in general, I think there are players who, well, quarterbacks have the biggest name, so they get that bag. Well, point being, there are players who really, like a Jalen Milroe, they really, really want to be in the NFL because that's their dream, understandably. And because there's a window right there, they may jump at the opportunity just so that they can get their foot in the door and be in the NFL, which I am not mad at because it is a gamble to stay in college. However, I look at it as you can also still develop in college and get compensated a lot more than you would. Because if you don't get that first round draft, if you don't get drafted in the first round and you fall to second, third, whatever, you end up and you can potentially end up in a spot where you'd made more in college.
Yeah.
Especially in the SEC, there really is close to zero state income tax too. Rather than being a third string journeyman on like a team in LA, and now you went from balling out to now living check to check, damn near. So, for what it's worth, I think there are guys who you should stay in college rather than be that journeyman, especially now that y'all niggas are getting paid. Before it made sense, it was like, bro, I'm not living off of college cafeteria food. I can't do that. But now y'all niggas are millionaires. Like, I'm not mad at Carson Beck. Stay here another year, be the man, get paid, and then now you're getting drafted as one of like the almost like veteran quarterbacks coming out of college. Like it's like, all right, this guy's in his 20s. He's played a lot of competitive football against a lot of big names. He's closer to being ready to go than a guy who I may still have to develop. He only had 1 year,
Right.
maybe a year and a half under his belt.
That's fair.
Skip the red shirt process. So, you know, for what it's worth, that's me. That's what I think personally.
And then
But
depending
the
on
draft
too, how
is.
good.
Go ahead.
I'm saying depending on too though for him how Miami do next season, his draft stock could be up there. Because you went
Carson
to
Beck.
Georgia. Went to Georgia, won up over in there, made the playoffs. Like what, 2 seasons
Yeah,
in a row,
Miami
and a
makes the
chip.
playoffs next year. Yeah.
Yeah, if Miami makes it next year, you possibly getting looked at as like top 5, depending on
Come
whoever's
on
coming in
now.
that draft with you.
Thank you. Whereas this year is looked at as a weak quarterback draft. There's only right now, even in the mock drafts, they only got like 2 quarterbacks, maybe 3 going in the first round.
Exactly.
Yeah, I was
So if
actually
your
looking
name
at
don't
that.
end with Ward, Sanders, or Ewers, probably should have stayed in if you're someone like him. Because it's like, bro, again, you get picked up, and now you in a cold losing city like Cleveland or Chicago, or you in an expensive losing city like Chicago, like LA. You know what I mean?
But hold
Like
on, with
where
the
you
LA,
could have stayed
LA though.
home, maybe not at Alabama, but it don't even matter, bro. You live in LA and can barely afford it, nevertheless, as a second string, third string.
Yeah.
Whereas, okay, you're not in Alabama, or you could have stayed in Alabama. Just go to Auburn. You could have went to any school in the SEC, been paid as the top QB, went out there, did the Jalen Hurts route, still performed at like a Heisman candidate level, and now you go into the next year's draft as one of the top ranks. Like, Jalen Milroe, and he's not the only one, but we're gonna see how that works out leaving early, because I think Anthony Richardson is real time example of why you should just stay and develop. Don't chase that window.
Oh yeah, and he got lucky. At Tech, who did we have? We had someone.
Brody that
Blanking on
went to
his name.
Tennessee.
Hendon Hooker. That's not the example that I was going to use. It was somebody else.
Okay.
But they came from like a junior college, ended up having one good year, where we had went to the ACC championship, and then he declared for the draft and just he got no love whatsoever. And they were saying the same thing. Oh yeah, he should have stayed another year. Proved himself and continued to develop. I think that some players they really do allow people to get in their head and hype them up, and they make a bad decision to leave early. Some people get lucky, like Anthony Richardson, and he's still in the league, but he's not performing the way that he should because he doesn't have the necessary skill sets. He really does need to work on that and become a better quarterback.
Yeah, for sure. Especially, and like I said, I mean, entering the draft is almost like going to the combine. It is a case-by-case scenario. You really got to be strategic of how you do it. But either way, it's like
Correct.
even if, and I know we keep picking on, it seems like Anthony Richardson, but the reason why it's so important is because if you look at the big picture, right? Because you'll have people who will argue, well, yeah, he still got drafted first round. He still got that bag, and he got his foot in the door. Excuse me. Sorry. And he got his foot in the door. So, he won. He got what he wanted, but it's like, yes, they have to make that first round draft contract last the rest of their lives, essentially, because he's not ready. You know what I mean? And you already hear players talk about how hard it is to make only getting paid during the season last throughout the course of an entire calendar year. Imagine making that one contract last the rest of your life, because let's call a spade a spade. Anthony Richardson is not about to get a max deal at the end of this rookie contract.
Hell no.
Whereas
After
if
what
he
he
stayed
pulled,
in college and maybe just transferred and went to somewhere who could really develop him to learn how to play the position the right way, you're still going to get drafted because you're still just as athletic. You're still going to have that combine you did. You're still going to get drafted high, but now you're a more developed quarterback in the league. You're making different types of mistakes other than the decision ones and all that type of stuff. And now people are talking about developing you differently. And now, you know what I mean? It just long term seems like a better bet. And, you know, Jalen Hurts, he went second round, but look at Jalen Hurts now. And Jalen Hurts also went in as a Heisman candidate that had played in 2 natties. So, it was, you know, a little different. But we'll see. We'll see how this all ends up working out. The draft is definitely going to be interesting because it's been an interesting offseason. Y'all think Aaron Rodgers is going to end up signing with Pittsburgh or Minnesota?
I don't know.
They say right now it's the Rams, Vikings, and Steelers that are the leading contenders.
Rams, Vikings, and Steelers.
I thought the Rams,
Vikings, and Steelers.
I thought the Rams had, what's his name?
Matthew Stafford. They don't have Matthew Stafford?
Yeah, I thought they had Stafford still, and they was sticking with him.
He's on a chopping block. They was ready to clear house.
Really?
Oh, shit.
You know the NFL ain't too
I didn't know that.
They are not
That is
that
true.
loyal.
That is definitely true.
Which I like Matthew Stafford, but I don't know if they figured Rodgers could do the same thing. I don't know. I like Stafford a little bit better, personally.
Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers is also just like, he's a lot of off-field drama, in my opinion.
The diva. I said that I don't know if it was last episode or the episode before, a couple episodes ago. Aaron Rodgers is diva, so
that
he tripped off of ayahuasca
whatever.
that one time and thinks he's Confucius now.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like, you know, if you pick him, you know, accept whatever trade, give him a contract, like that's gonna come with it. You know, a lot of headache and whatnot, babbling about Scientology and whatever the hell else he does. Like,
right.
no, dude, I'm not trying to hear none of that shit.
I'm surprised he has the options he does.
Honestly.
And
and he's old, he's what? He's 40? Like, bro, I mean, he's still performing, but like, you know, he might be on his way out. You know, you don't got much time left.
I feel like he better make a decision before the draft, because the draft is, if we think the offseason is crazy now, after the season ends, the draft is what really makes the offseason start going crazy.
Right.
That hornet's nest gets shaken up. So he better make a decision soon before he ain't got any choices at all and he's forced into retirement.
Well, I know the Steelers, they picked back up Rudolph, so they looking at him pretty heavy. And him and Mike Tomlin probably got a little chemistry there, so Mike Tomlin will probably pick him.
You know, like I know, nobody's looking at Mason Rudolph to be the starter.
I was gonna say between him and Rodgers at that point.
But they picked him back up, so they might be trying to keep him. And then who does Minnesota got right now? Is it
JJ McCarthy, the guy out of Michigan?
Oh, Michigan, yeah. And that's how did he perform?
Because Sam Darnold signed with Seattle. Well, he was hurt, and Sam Darnold went off in Minnesota. So now, but Sam Darnold signed with Seattle. Mm-hmm. So Aaron Rodgers was supposed to. I think one of the things he was like, "Well, I can come in and train him how to develop," but it was like, bro, you didn't do that with the rookie you have now. You have a rookie behind you now, the guy out of Florida State that had one. What was Travis? Whatever his name was, that led Florida State to the ACC championship last year. It was like you had a rookie with you last year and you weren't showing up to minicamp. So who are you supposed to be leading in training now? Sounds like you just want to play Green Bay twice a year, if anything.
I think he's just trying to follow the Brett Favre route. He's just trying to be like Brett.
He's suffering from main character syndrome. And the NFL is about to humble him.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. For like real quick, because, bruh, time is running out and he's underperforming. He hasn't done anything to elevate a franchise in how many years? Even when he was getting them final 2 MVPs in Green Bay, he wasn't making the team better at all. He was just good. He signed in New York, and then he said, yeah, I think I still got another MVP in me. It was like, bro, who the fuck is asking about that? Can you play in the postseason? Can you do that MVP stuff in the postseason? We get it. You're the king of the regular season. Got it.
Can you help bring the Jets to the postseason? That's the real question.
You know what I mean? So we'll see. I don't see any teams though bending backwards like they've done before for him.
No, definitely not. I think they're so privy to his antics, and it's going to be, I don't know. I feel like he's got his foot out the door at this point. Like he's going to shoot himself in the foot, and then that foot's going to have to go out the door, and because no one's going to want to work with him to a point, because they'll be like, all right, you've been underperforming for years now. Yes, you did great things back in the day, but now it's like you're consistently underperforming at this point. So it's kind of like,
you're underperforming. You're possibly not a leader or someone to help, elevate the team and stuff. You're a problem off the field. What good are you?
Locker room liability. They gave him everything he wanted. They gave him the contract he wanted, gave him say in orchestrating who gets hired, fired, whenever. They let go Rob Saleh for you, the whole 9. And what are they getting now?
Him spewing Scientology and anti-vaccine nonsense.
Yeah, you want to argue with
nothing of value,
stuff like that?
Nothing of value, like
at all.
At all. It is good to see that both New York teams cleared house and starting over. However, in true New York fashions, neither team is going to do it without some fucking head scratchers in the mix. The Jets, they're all in on Justin Fields, which I could see that working out just because he's being reunited with Garrett Wilson, which they had that chemistry from college, Ohio State days when they went to the Natty together. So I think that can work out. New York, I think like we said earlier, it's either going to be a sign and trade or Russell Wilson and Jameis Winston going to be having a lot of prayer offs and see who gets it. There's going to be a lot of pregame speeches and just, and I'm going to piggyback off that and I'm going to just, you know how that goes.
I will say it is hilarious that the fact that Jameis Winston asked Saquon at the Super Bowl interview, he was just like, hey man, I ain't got no job. Who should I go for it? He was like, I think New York needs a quarterback. And then who signs him? New York. Like, the Saquon called that shit. It's crazy. So, but if he stays there, like you said, we'll see.
Yeah. Did you guys see T. Higgins' new contract?
Was it like 100-something million?
4 years, 115 million, 30 million guaranteed.
He deserves it. If it wasn't for him and Chase, that team would be ass.
he had a lot of
touchdowns. He deserves way better. I don't think you heard me, Rand. 30 million guaranteed, not even 30%.
I was
not
gonna,
even a third of it is guaranteed.
Oh shit! Wait,
I was gonna bring that up. I was like, I feel like at 115, that's a low, like 30 million is a low percentage. I would say at least,
Yeah,
65,
yeah,
70 should be guaranteed. Like at
Usually,
least
yeah, it's gonna
somewhere
be
close
70,
to
80
half.
mil.
No, I agree.
yeah. 30 is kind of low.
It's a 100
And
mil
then
with
even the
I saw the
way
breakdown. It's like a weird breakdown.
5
I
million
just
guaranteed next year. Another
yeah,
10,
no, I
another 10 if he plays every game. Excuse me. There's a lot of bonuses that are in it that involves him having to play and not miss any games, which is kind of crazy in an injury prone sport.
Right.
I'm just looking
Yeah,
at it like there's no way. I'm just
Who advised
keeping
him
it
to
honest.
take
I
his
don't
time?
think, and that's what I was gonna say. I don't think even his agent was like, "Yo, this is a good deal." I think he just really wants to be there. I think they were like, "This is the only way we can get you this money. Like we do want you. We're not gonna act like we don't want you. But if you want this big signing day contract, the only way we can afford it is this way." And he took it, but which says a
see
lot that he really wants to be in
just
Cincy with them.
yeah.
see.
I
I
don't
ain't
know.
gonna lie. All I heard was
People like
115.
Cincinnati. It's weird.
Yeah, I heard the 115, and that's when I was like,
I think
that's why
it's
I
the
was thinking it was gonna be a
opportunity.
Yeah.
30 guarantee. And actually, now that I say, yeah,
30
yeah,
guarantee,
I take
don't
that back.
do it.
Yeah,
It's one thing
but
if you're getting paid a crazy contract where it's like, okay, at that point, I'll play for any team because I'll just live in Miami in the offseason or live in Dallas in the offseason. But 30 mil guaranteed of the 100, he's not even. Oh man,
I
it
saw
feels
the
like that
breakdown
Scottie Pippen
somewhere.
contract.
Because I know him and Chase got new deals. So is Chase deal the same as his, or
Here,
like,
I'll put the link in the chat. I'll put the link in the chat with the contract breakdown.
damn, that is a crazy ass fucked
But
up deal.
that's why, yeah, when you was like, man, he deserves it. I was like, whoa, the devil's in the
Okay, so
detail. Bruh,
so yeah, he deserves 115, but then like you that like actually processed a little bit more. 30 guaranteed, yeah, that like he deserves more than 30 guaranteed. Definitely more than 30. Because if it wasn't for, like I said, if it's not for him and Chase, that team would definitely have fallen apart. Burrow's good,
hmm
but at the same time,
which again, I don't
you
think
good because
he.
you got your receivers.
But in which again, I don't think he was having trouble finding that in the market. I think he was more than capable of getting that in the market because even before he signed, everyone was one of the reasons everyone was shocked when he signed wasn't just because of the amount and that it was like, oh, this seems like a stupid move on the Bengals. Now they can't get a defense or anything. It was also like everyone had their mind made up. He was as good as gone. Like he was that good. He was competing at that level. So we thought he was going to go to. I think someone had at one point thought the Steelers before DK went there, and then there was a couple teams that thought. I forgot there were a couple NFC teams that were a possibility, but nobody saw him going back to Cincinnati. I think he really just wants to be there.
I mean, the way
We'll
I
see.
look at it
These
with
games are going to be like a 60-point shootout.
the way I look at it with them two with at Cincinnati is if Chase isn't open, you're gonna have Higgins open because they're gonna have to double team one of them because they both good as fuck. So it's like
hmm
he got a better chance of getting them yards that he want, I guess. Because they know they're gonna have to double team one of them, and if they double team Chase, that leaves Higgins open. If they double team Higgins, that leaves Chase open. So I think right now they definitely are looking like, okay, yeah, no, we gotta get to the Super Bowl and win that bitch for real, for real.
But you need a defense. Defense is what wins championships, and they ain't got no fucking
That is true.
defense.
Oh
Hendrickson
yeah,
was
because
supposed to get that big signing day.
yeah, and he
That
didn't
is
get it,
true.
right?
And needed to. Like, I don't. I still don't understand what's happening there because now that Max Crosby and Myles Garrett just got cashed out, you know he was already looking for his payday. Now he's really going to need it. We'll see. I don't see Cincinnati getting a Super Bowl out of this contract anytime soon, personally.
No.
But, I could be wrong.
I mean, I ain't gonna lie.
It doesn't really
surprised
feel
me
like a
year.
well thought out.
Yeah.
Say that one more time.
I said they surprised everybody that year. They went against LA.
But making it and winning it ain't the same thing.
Correct. And what the last 2 years they haven't come close, right? They weren't even in the playoffs the last 2 years.
So the following year they almost went. They came down to one play that the Chiefs got. It came down to a flag in the Chiefs' favor, but they almost went back-to-back years. I will give them that credit, but
last year,
the past 2
seasons, 21 and 22, yeah,
yes,
yeah, they have phenomenal. One of those years, well, I guess technically both of those years were very good.
But to cash out like this and not get a Super Bowl is pretty stupid. Like when the Rams cashed out, they won a Super Bowl.
Right.
When Tampa Bay did it, when New England did it, it's one thing to win a Super Bowl, and then when your team goes through the phase of rebuilds and then we suck, it's like, all right, well, we got all them Super Bowls. I understand it's worth it. This is what we asked for. Is worth the gamble. To just be paying all these players and then you don't get anything out of it. Now your team is just broke and they suck. It's like, for what, regular season highlights? That's what we do out here. As long as you can cheer for the Buckeyes, you'll accept the L on Sunday.
Hey, how about though the Eagles with a whole?
What else are their options, yo?
I don't know. Who knows? But, hey, how about the Eagles got all of Georgia's defense on their team now? Damn near.
Bro, they've been doing that for the past 4 seasons, I want to say.
Yeah, I know, but now it's like official, like damn near everybody plays on their defense came from Georgia. Because they had to.
Yeah, I'm gonna buy you a new router. Man.
Out of their pros.
No, I agree. Yeah, it's an absolute powerhouse. Yeah, I think as long as everybody stays healthy, they'll definitely be back in the Super Bowl next year.
100%. They have so many weapons; it's insane.
Yeah, and like their defense, just like how bad their defense made teams look. Especially the Chiefs. It was just, it was pitiful.
I think it's going to be a more competitive Super Bowl next year, though, if they go, because it won't be the Chiefs. Like,
yeah,
the Chiefs, for whatever reason, when they lose, well, it's not really that. It's just when they lose, they get their asses handed to them. It's like if Baltimore,
it's never a close game. Yeah,
Buffalo was there, it would have been a more competitive game. I think if Baltimore was there, it would have been probably the most entertaining Super Bowl we've ever seen.
True.
Or one of the. Definitely a shootout, though. But, also, I got to ask y'all real quick. Have y'all been seeing this whole Stephen A. versus LeBron shit?
Oh, is this still stemming from a couple weeks ago when he was
still going
bashing Bronny? Yeah.
He was. So that's the thing. To be fair, he wasn't bashing Bronny. His attacks were only at LeBron. It was like, yo, stop forcing him through the process and stop forcing him on us, on the media. Like, he's not ready. And then LeBron got mad at him, but it was like,
which it's easy to get mad at Stephen A. because like that nigga just has a loud mouth. Like whether he's right or wrong, he's just very aggressive, ignorant. So I could totally understand being bothered by his approach. He's not wrong. I never said that Stephen A. was wrong. Just how he goes about it. Yes, exactly.
I agree. But I think that was what Stephen A. was saying. That was his point. Stephen A. was trying to warn him because he's like, you know how I am. you know the effect I've had on the media over the years, and how a lot of sports analysts are like this. A lot of the majority of hot takes and shock value and all this stuff. If he's not ready, don't force him through the process, and then just essentially throw him to the wolves. Like, you know what is going to happen of this. You know how people are going to talk of him because they don't like you, and they're going to do it to attack you. And that's what Stephen A. said, which is a pretty fair and honest take. So for LeBron to press him over that and be like, yo, don't be bashing my son. It's like, nigga, how out of touch are you, bro? Are you really that subjective about this? You can't even look at this from an honest take and just step back for a second and go, oh, damn, wait, you're kind of looking out for me?
So someone, it was actually, I want to say it was like Draymond or somebody on one of their podcasts. They mentioned about that. They were saying that, he wasn't stepping to him more so about Bronny. It was the fact that he was stepping to him about like, there was a fact that, first of all, it was a way that Stephen A. said it. If he wouldn't have been like, as a father, I'm begging you to stop. That's when, at that point, LeBron took it personal because he was like, now you coming for me as a parent. Like, I don't play that. And everybody knows LeBron didn't have his dad growing up. So he's always going to be he always, like, throughout his entire, like, life of his kids, has tried to be there for them. So it was at that moment when LeBron got mad and pressed him. And that's why LeBron pressed him, was because it was more so about you coming for him as a parent. He didn't care. Like, they said, it was like, LeBron does not care about, like, them bashing Bronny because it's going to happen. It's sports. You feel me? So it was just sort of like more so you coming for me as a parent now. That's where I have to draw the line. Like, don't try to do that at all. So
okay, that's what. This is what took place at the game. I don't think anybody.
Well, that's the thing, because nobody, I don't think, will argue that principle. However, when LeBron was face to face with Stephen A., he didn't say none of that shit. He said, "Don't bash Bronny." Then LeBron goes on a press tour and says, "I'm doing it for the players." So it's like, what you're saying makes sense, but you're making points that LeBron his damn self ain't making. Every time he has a chance, he's not even saying that shit. The stuff that he is saying is what everyone's critiquing, which is, what do you mean you're doing it for the players? All the players get critiqued all the time. Like, if you really felt like this,
maybe he could just be avoiding that as Stephen A. looks back. Maybe it could just be like, hey, like, he wants to move it away from that, because if he were to say that, that might turn things in a different light. And I've always imagined LeBron to be a respectful person and to not like try to throw people under the bus. So maybe that's just maybe that's the approach that he's taking. Is just like keep it, focused on the players and not on Stephen A. disrespecting him inadvertently.
But now also too, I will say too that
a lot of people have. But again, it's also like, what did you say when you pressed him though?
That's what putting them to.
Like, whatever you said in the heat of that moment is the most important, because that's essentially what you're standing on business for. True. Which you got there, you got in his face, and you said, "Do not bash Bronny." This doesn't sound like I'm here, sticking up for my style of parenting. I'm here sticking up for the players around me. This sounds like you said something about my son. I'm here to press you about my son. So, again, I'm not mad at the principle, I guess, but it's just, you can't force him through. Like, what is the next, like, I would have the same intimate if LeVar Ball was pressing media people, or if Deion Sanders was pressing media people. It's like, bro, you want them to be professional athletes. This is what being a professional athlete is. People are going to critique their game.
Yeah, and if they're stinking up. I feel like with that, the Ball children, they also had to prove themselves, and some of them did, some of them didn't. The one of them, he ended up in the G League, and then the other two are in the NBA. I feel like that's what you kind of have to do with LeBron.
Two in the NBA, one with a hit song and a record deal.
Yeah.
God, that song was awful.
He did his thing.
I don't care. That song is trash. Like, I ain't got nothing against them, but shit's trash. Call me an old man if you want. I'm one of them
I'm
old
not
black
swearing
guys.
on that.
They making trash
Ooh,
nowadays.
ooh.
Like that's me. Like, yo,
It
people be
sounds like hot
vibing. They're
boy
like,
shit.
yo, bro, people are like, yo, that shit hit. That shit go. They out here moving like Jay-Z in the meme. Like no, nigga, no, that shit is junk. It's straight junk. Like, bro, please get the
But
fuck
like
out of here.
Not
Jay-Z,
Jay-Z in the meme. I'm dead. 'Cause I know
Yeah.
it's what you talking when they got the glasses on. He's
Yeah. Yeah, that, yeah. Like, bro, that shit is straight junk. Please get that out of here. Don't play that at my, bachelor party. Don't play that at my wedding. Don't play that at my kid's first birthday. Like, no, keep that away from my family. Please
bro,
and
put
thank
that on
you.
the request list for your wedding.
Yo,
oh god,
we'll fight. I swear to God, we'll fight.
So,
Yeah.
fight.
Yeah,
Either
that stuff is
finish it
just
off, DJ, or
so,
you're not getting paid. Fuck all that.
yo, big
Yeah, I
facts.
can see
Yeah.
clear now. DJ. No.
Next.
That stuff is terrible.
Woke up right
But
onto my table. It was one of you hard R's, wasn't it? It did. I knew which table to come to.
oh
Man, like
god.
he
I
needs
mean,
to Bronny just needs to prove himself. And like, if he can, great. But if he doesn't, you gotta let that go. Like if it's like, hey, LeBron, I'm sorry, Bronny's just not cutting it. I don't know, like bro, like you gotta be working with him at home or something. I imagine y'all live in the same house. Like you gotta help him be a better player. I don't know how LeBron's doing that. I don't know if he actually is doing. I imagine he is. I imagine that he's being a parent and coaching at the same
mhm.
time. So yeah, I think we just need to let this run its course. It's like Mac McClung, right? Like Mac McClung, I've seen him play in person. Like yes, he can dunk. That's cool and all that. But there are other aspects of the game. He's at 6'1", 6'2". He's got to be a point guard. He's got to have the handles. He has to have the vision. He's got to be able to make assists and be a playmaker. And unfortunately, he's not that person. You got to call it what it is. He's in the G League. That's where he's at. Like they tried to bring him up. They tried to make it work. Once or twice, but it's not there. Sometimes people got to stay in the G League for a few years. Sometimes that's people's whole career. And if, yes, you're the son of possibly the most talented basketball player ever, sorry, it just didn't translate to you. And you got to call it what it is.
That's it, bro. Like, I personally, and I'll leave it here after this, but he's acting like a little bit of a spoiled brat over it, bro. You got everything you wanted out of the situation. You got to be the face of the league for 20 something years. You've got to make the billions that you wanted, retire a billionaire. You got to get your son in the league earlier than he was actually ready. You guys got your moments. You got to be on the court together. And then, oh my gosh, someone in the media says something about it. Get over it, bruh. We do not care. And I mean, I didn't even realize it until Laird said before in that line, like he is doing he's wearing a lot of different hats at once. Maybe you are doing a little bit too much. You're trying to be dad of the year, MVP, coach of the year, you know, also want to be his media person too. It's bruh, pick a lane, please. If you want to change lanes, just put your turn signal on. But you don't need to get mad at everybody else because you just want to do this all over the fucking road. Like, come on, son.
So I
Now,
will say, like, I agree with all of that. I think that after the initial interaction with them, they should have had a conversation privately on how they were going to handle it, like in the media, because I feel like LeBron went out and said what he said, and then Stephen A is like, LeBron didn't go to Kobe's funeral and this and that, like just started like spewing a whole bunch of bullshit and was like, LeBron specifically requested not to be filmed at Kobe's memorial. Like you're just saying shit at this point. So it's turning into this big like media frenzy bullshit
I didn't
mess.
even hear that. Why did he bring that up?
Yeah, I
What
didn't
more
hear
did he
you
have to
put
do
me
with
on a
it?
new game.
no, y'all
Like,
didn't hear?
Yeah,
Stephen A
no.
Smith just started saying anything. So I think that the way it was handled after the fact is worse than like the initial interaction. They had their interaction, cool. They disagreed? LeBron said what he said. Stephen A. Smith tried to be like, I wasn't talking about Brian, I was talking about you. Cool, but like have a conversation separately, squash it in the media because now it's this back and forth media feud, and you're just saying anything. LeBron
They even
specifically,
sneak dissing on Instagram.
Like it's weird now. Like just shut up. Everyone's over it. Like, okay, Bronny's kind of ass. It is what it is. Like he's in the G League,
He's
building
kind
up
of
his
ass.
game.
No, he is ass on it. He's not kind of. That nigga terrible.
Okay.
Better than
Well,
me. He's better than
he
me.
had
I ain't
40
gonna lie.
points
He's
the
better
other
than me
night
in
in the G
balling.
League.
Yeah,
I
okay.
mean, it's the G League, but he's finding his footing. Let him develop. Let him build. Whatever. Cool. Like, end of story. Stephen A. Smith has been like, honestly, I won't say shit no more about y'all and your family. You got it. And LeBron could be like, okay, bet we're gonna work on my son's development. Clearly, people have been talking about him for a while now, so done. But then to be saying this, that, and the third, and just running your mouth, like that's the problem. It's like we're digging a deeper hole that never needed to be that deep.
And I'll always say it. I've said it for years. Like just the way that Stephen A. be talking, somebody gonna beat his ass one day.
Right. It's the delivery.
Someone gonna put a gun to his mouth and be like, "Yo, say another word." Like Pinky and next Friday.
I don't think he ever thought LeBron, who's like squeaky clean record, would be the one to press him on court. Well, I do feel like I think both sides do have a part that they played in all of this. I do honestly, as a lifelong LeBron fan, feel like a lot of what's being said in the media could have also been avoided if he not tweeted out, man, I'm watching League Pass and my son's better than half of these guys. If he didn't, every single press conference, every time a microphone was in his face, basically rally for his son to get drafted as basically saying we're a combination. We're whoever signs him gets me. He brought a lot of attention to his son. He brought on a lot of hype to his son that wasn't genuine hype. So you can't be mad now that all the eyes are here and they don't like what they're seeing.
Yeah.
I think had he just approached it honestly and was like, listen, I've been in the NBA longer than I've been alive. I got drafted at 18. I've been in here for 22 years. I missed raising my kids because I'm on the road entertaining you guys. I miss being a family man for that. I have a chance now to get my son in the league. Like Gilbert Arenas said, I have a chance now to have my son with me. I get to be a dad and have him here with me on the bench. If you just was honest about it and said something like that, I don't think anybody would really say anything or care that much. It would just be a cool father-son moment. But for you to get up here,
just for the pictures and stuff.
Yeah, for you to be up here and be disingenuous and give all this false advertisement and say he's this and that, he's the next me and this and that and the third, and he's literally named after you, nigga. You cannot now be mad. Attention's here, and some people are like, I bought the tickets, but the show is trash. You just got to take it because y'all still win. You still get to walk away a billionaire, and now you just guaranteed your son is now a millionaire on his own. Take your win and keep it moving, yo. All you're doing is entertaining us regular folk. You're not actually doing anything effective. Like that's how I see it.
So I will play a little bit of devil's advocate here. I don't think Bronny is as trash as people think he is. And the reason why I say that is because if you really look at that entire drafting class, Bronny was the 55th pick, but he's doing better than most of the 23rd picks and like picks above him. And also, too, on top of that, he's not even getting as many minutes as everybody else. He's only getting like 4 minutes a game average, except for the one where the Lakers lost against the Bucks and he dropped 17 on their ass. But like you get like picks like the 23rd pick who's getting 10 plus minutes, and the motherfucker's only averaging 2.3 points a game or something like around that area. And it's like, so people are kind of, I feel like, do go a little bit too hard on Bronny. But at the same time, too, I do get where everybody else is like, coming from because, LeBron did definitely like push heavy on the media when it comes to his son. So it's like, you asked for this, but at the same time, too, it's like one of those like where people should kind of also do their research and be like, okay, is he truly as trash as we're saying he is, or are we just saying this because LeBron force-fed us so much about his son that we're now looking and we're like, nah, bro, your son is trash. Your son is trash. But it's like, is he though?
That's why I said.
And that's why I said,
I said that's why I said kind of ass. He's not like fully ass.
That's why I said both sides have accountability, because Rand is right. He's not ass, but it's almost like, and it's almost like, okay, it's like that guy who has, his girlfriend is pretty. She's a regular looking girl. She's cool, but he goes around constantly bashing women. He's always shitting on other people's girlfriends or whoever other people are dating. He's like, oh, he likes big girls. Oh, he like ugly girls. Oh, his girl got no. And then you finally see his girl, and it's like, she's not bad. There's nothing wrong with her, but nigga, the way you've been talking and hyping it up, you better be walking in here with a dime, because now I got some shit to say. That's basically what we're looking at. Is you hype this up like this was about to be the baddest thing we've ever seen, and you got like a 6, and a 6 ain't bad. It's average. A 6 is
there's nothing wrong with average.
It's on the higher end of average. It's almost cracking above average. But because of how you've been talking and hyping this up, now I'm looking at it with 10 goggles on, and a 6 and a 10. 6 ain't bad, but with 10 is here. The 6 kind of look like, that's all that's really happening. You know, I had to break that down in the only way I knew how.
So Bronny is putting up points and stuff, right? So let's go back to that real quick. But Bronny's ability to put up points, for him to even be in that scenario, right? Because he was in the G League, was he not? And they put him in the G League because they didn't think that he was ready. So for the people who, you know, are like the 23rd pick and whatever, who have actually like earned their spot without having their dad as an influence, comparatively, they are better, right? Or not necessarily. Like minus the stats aspect, like that person who was, you know, like you said, Nigel, was the 23rd pick, for example, who averages 2 minutes, but he's worked to be able to play there and earn those 2 minutes. Whereas Bronny James has had his dad do all of the work to bring him up so that he can get more minutes. And he's also on a better team.
Exactly. That's essentially what everyone's saying. Like, yeah, basically. Yeah, the 23rd, he may be doing better, but it's also like, bro, he better, because you talked about him like he was you. But since keep it on top, speaking of dads, I really want to get you guys' reaction to this story, because I've tried like 3 times this week to upload a video about this story, and I keep getting copyrighted. Another dad who wasn't the one to play with. Have y'all heard about Cain Velasquez?
Cain Velasquez? No, what's this?
2-time heavyweight champion in the UFC. He was just sentenced on Tuesday, I want to say, to 5 years in prison.
Is that the article? Yes.
Yes, okay. I sent the article in the group chat. I tried to do like 3 videos, y'all, and they kept getting copyrighted, son. It is so hard to do the video without the proper context. But basically, just to paint the whole story, what happened. He got word that the daycare center that his son was going to at the time, his son was 4 at the time, it was in 2022, that the son of the daycare owner had sexually assaulted him.
His son?
Yes, the UFC fighter's son. So the UFC fighter went to the authorities about it. Shortly after, I want to say a day or 2 later, he went to go press them about it. At some point with him going to press them about it, they fleed away in a pickup truck. So they, meaning the daycare owner, the mother, her husband, and the son who was being accused. They take off in their truck and flee. He goes chasing after them and then opens fire into the vehicle. He shoots it twice, or he opens fire into the vehicle and ended up hitting the stepfather twice. The stepfather has no movement or no type of movement left in his right arm. So Cain was charged the entire time that he was being charged. Dana White, Joe Rogan, Khabib, Daniel Cormier, a lot of big name UFC fighters have been lobbying for his release. He was on house arrest. at one point, and then he was even allowed to go to like an old WWE event or Lucha Libre event in Arizona. Like he was fighting this charge for about 3 years or so. But they investigated. They found out that there may actually be even more potential victims. But he was charged as a vigilante for shooting into the vehicle, and he got 5 years.
Damn.
Yeah. So what do you guys think? I know when you see the news article, a lot of people, they got to do clickbait stuff, so they're reporting it as he got 5 years for shooting at the guy that essayed his son. But shooting at him and shooting him is two different things. So that's why the headlines are a little misleading, because it makes it sound like he got 5 years for shooting the guy that did it. He just shot in that direction. He didn't actually shoot the dude that did it.
So the dude who did it did not get shot at all?
Correct. He's on trial now.
So why?
Yeah, he shot the dude's dad. Right? His dad or
yeah, they
stepdad.
took off the stepdad, the mom, and the guy himself were in one. Were in the pickup truck. He was chasing after them on the freeway. Opened fire.
Okay.
2 shots going to the stepdad. So he got charged, and y'all know California got strict ass gun laws.
Right.
So he got charged with firing at him and got off with 5 years. And now the guy that was accused, he was already being investigated, so he's still on trial.
Free him.
Yeah, it's crazy. Honestly, I'm kind of hoping that they get locked up together.
Yeah, like yes and no. Like, so in my opinion, right? Did you need to go and chase after them? No, you didn't. Chances are they were going to come back home. They were going to go back to the daycare or whatever. Like you said, if the guy's being investigated anyway, they're going to handle it. There will be another opportunity for you to engage with them. I'm not going to chase you. I'm just going to wait for you. Not only that, I am a heavyweight UFC person. I'm not going to shoot you. I'm going to beat your fucking ass. I'm going to obliterate you. Like,
thank you.
It's going to, like, I'm not going to shoot you. That's a waste of my time. Like, these hands are certified. Like, we getting busy. Like, you know what I'm saying? So
in charge.
Yo, bro, elbows, knees, like, yo, mom getting it, stepdad getting it, like the janitor getting it, like everybody gonna get worked. Like, be patient. You know? So I think that he was indeed wrong for pursuing them. I understand his rage and stuff like that, but especially because he pursued them after they fled and then, opening fire. It's like, yo, you went there with intentions to kill or to scare or whatever, depending on how you want to view that situation. And there's nothing wrong with that. But once you started the pursuit, you're wrong. So do I think he deserves 5 years? No. Do I believe that he should be reprimanded for his actions? Yes, because he could have just, he could have waited, came back, beat them all the fuck up, and then be like, yo, you're on probation. You know you're not supposed to be hitting civilians. Like they would have taken it real simple and easy. Like,
and that's why being a vigilante is against the law, because even police have rules of engagement. They would not shoot at a car while chasing you. So because of
bro, all that
happen,
shit died in like 1986. Nobody could do that anymore.
I think if this was in Texas or Florida, 5 years would have seemed like a lot. But because he's in California, I feel like 5 years he kind of got off easy, because we know that they are the anti-American guns out there in California, bro. And for you to not only have a gun, go pursuing someone in a high-speed chase, then open firing
in public, like you could have hit another car, like.
Exactly. You discharged it and then you hit someone. That's like 4 fucking charges right there.
Yeah,
that nigga could have easily gotten 15 years, like minimum.
Yeah, I will say, like, he did kind of look out to some degree with the 5 years. I think it's one thing that can be looked at as like a crime of passion. I took like a criminal law class in college, and I learned a lot about, when there's like real intent, and it's like when you're kind of like triggered by something. So it's more so like when you see that person that you know molested your son, or you even have an inkling, it's like you react and you almost don't have control over your actions, because it's just in the moment, in the heat of the moment, you're just like, I want this man dead, and you're not thinking correctly. So I can understand to some degree, obviously why, um, uh, while he acknowledged that his actions were wrong. I read that in the article. So like he knows it was fucked up, but I think sometimes like certain circumstances, it's like, I'm not a mother, but I can't imagine what I would do to somebody either if I knew that they were touching my child like that. Yes, not the best choice of actions, but it's like sometimes you're just full of that rage and you just react, and there's nothing that can stop you in that moment. So I think the actions were wrong. I understand kind of the intent, I guess, behind it. It's like you're a parent and you want to protect your child at all costs, and you see the person that hurts them and you'll do anything to make it stop. So it is a little messed up, obviously, and he's still on trial. Hopefully that justice is served. Like to Laird's point, like, there's still that opportunity to engage with that person, let them know how you feel, and justice to be served to them. But sometimes you can't. You have to think before you act and not really take matters into your own hands, because now you're out of your child's life for 5 years.
Yeah, the original victim is fatherless essentially for 5 years.
So, and you have to think about that. Like, how are my actions going to affect my child's life if I react in such a negative manner? So,
yeah, I think the only way I can see where this all works out, where it kind of feels like poetic justice in a way, is if they end up locked up in the same jail. Like if they're in the same common area or something like that.
but I mean,
It really don't matter where
they
he
think
get
he's
locked
a
up.
child molester. So if he does get convicted and he goes to prison, that man's fucked.
But I'm saying, imagine if it's Cain who gets to do it. It's the 2-time heavyweight,
Fair. But
the
you would
father of the
hope that
child that gets to do it.
I would hope that he wouldn't jeopardize, being in prison longer so that he can be.
I'd look the other way if I'm the
I
prison
imagine.
guards.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I imagine somebody like some security guard's gonna look the other way.
Yeah,
It's like you said, what you open with. They hate child molesters inside.
They do.
It's like, man, I ain't.
I would hope so, but
as soon as, because at the end of the day, those jailers, if you ever met any of those sheriff department people, they know who they got locked up in their facility. Make no mistake, they know who's in their facility. They know who's who. So as soon as they see that, they go, "Wait, he was locked up. Yo, Brody, that we got over there, that it was his son. Yeah, dude, that did that. Yeah, yo,
they start placing bets too.
Yeah,
yeah. $10. He don't last a week.
Yo, bro. So how you think he's
right?
gonna kill him? You think he's gonna strangle him? You think he's gonna put him in one of those moves, or you think he's just gonna beat his face in? Or you think it's gonna be a kick, or it's gonna be a punch? Or you think he's gonna like roundhouse him? Like, how you think he's gonna actually get him?
Yeah, no.
I don't know. I think that would be something I want to see. That's a CCTV footage I would want to view.
Facts.
Right. Greatest prison footage since Jeffrey Epstein.
When they gonna release his black book? That's all we wait.
Yo, it's New York FBI office that's holding all of it, but they did release a lot recent in the past week, and also there was an interview on TV which kind of confirmed Jeffrey Epstein and Bill Clinton were they were really close.
I mean, everybody knows Bill was fucking.
Y'all remember that dude Kevin Spacey from House of Cards?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do y'all remember how he got Me Too'd or whatever back in 2019 and the show ended and he was like, oh, by the way. So he went on Piers Morgan to basically do another cry tour about how he's basically going poor and one of his houses is getting foreclosed. Whatever. You can never trust an actor when they're crying. But Piers Morgan was asking him about the whole Epstein list that he was talking about. He was like, yeah, if you had asked me, 20 years ago, if I knew some guy, Jeffrey Epstein, I would have told you, I don't know. I don't know these people. And then he goes, yeah, I've been around him, but there's a lot of times where I've done a lot of volunteer work, or I've done a lot of work with people for different campaigns and stuff. And we'll be on a private jet, and he'd just be one of those guys in the group, but I wouldn't know who he was. I wouldn't know if he was someone's staffer. I wouldn't know if he was another donor. He was like, I never had a conversation, but he was basically confirming. He was like, so you did see Jeffrey Epstein? He's like, yeah, whenever I was working with the Clinton Foundation, whenever we'd go out to South Africa, we go to this and that and the third, he would always be with them, Bill and Jeffrey. And he goes, but after a while, he was like, this guy just always has really young girls around. Like, I didn't want to hang out with him. It was just weird.
Because he was interested in boys, but that's neither.
Yes, right. Like, we believe that. Like, you didn't go, hey man, do those girls have any brothers? Like, get the fuck out of here, bro. But point being, we know why the Epstein list ain't coming out. It's because there's some powerful names on that list.
Once everybody on that list dies,
they're not going to do anything, right? Let's be honest. You're going to release the list. No one's going to do anything about it. Just release it. No one cares, right? Like we care because we want to know, but nothing's actually going to happen to these people. Point blank. Everyone knows that, right? Like if we were, 4 powerful people in Congress or in Dubai or whatever, and we were doing bad stuff, people know about it. People know that we do bad stuff. Nothing's going to happen to us. Absolutely nothing.
True that.
Yeah, well, I mean, who knows? Who knows? I really, yeah, I don't think the people who we want to see go down are never the ones that actually end up going down.
Oh, dude, it's other people who should go down because they're also bad people, but it's
the
always
fall
the common
guys.
people. Yeah,
it's the fall guy.
Yeah.
But the Epstein files. I mean, in the meantime, they dropped the JFK files, and those are very, very interesting.
Oh, did they? They actually.
So the thing is with JFK files, it reminds me a lot of finding out how Pac got killed. It was like we all kind of knew what it was. We just never had the confirmation. We never had the first-hand witness to confirm what we already knew. If that makes sense. Like we knew he just had a lot of common enemies, and then he just got done beating up that dude in the casino. We could put enough together to kind of get what happened there. It was the same thing with JFK. He just had a lot of powerful enemies. Him and his brother were going after the mob. They were going after the CIA. They were trying to cool things down with Russia. They weren't with the whole Bay of Pigs thing with going on with Cuba, which is why they were trying to dismantle the CIA. They weren't cool with giving Israel all these weapons and stuff like that and letting them develop nuclear weapon. He just had so many powerful common enemies that it was like, yeah, everyone's going to come together on this plan and make sure they can contribute.
Oh, yeah.
Even if it's one person pulls the trigger, there's a lot of other players that are like, oh, well, just to make sure it hits, my country can send you our brand of bullets. Them things don't ever fuck up. They don't jam. Oh, well, we can, we can make sure he has this so he can climb. Like, you know what I mean? Everyone's playing their role, so everyone kind of got some dirty hands in it. But shit was crazy. If this wasn't just a sports podcast, I probably would go in a little bit more in depth. But that shit will get us canceled in the sports world. So, any other topics? I feel like I've been bringing up all these topics and everything, just breezing through. Did y'all have anything y'all wanted to bring up?
Did we cover everything on the list?
Just about, basically.
Just about, yeah.
Oh, did we talk about that coach yanking that girl's hair? Yeah, I sent that clip.
I did see that. That was insane.
I like these parenting clips we doing. Go ahead, Lear. Go ahead. Lead us along.
So what? It was during a basketball game. I believe it was a high school basketball game, and the girl was upset. She was crying, I imagine, because they lost. And I guess the coach didn't like the way she was conducting herself, so he ends up walking up behind her and like yanks her hair, and he's like, "Hey, like, be a grown up, be a woman." And like her teammate stepped in and was like, "Yo, like, don't touch her like that." And he was like, like yelling at her or speaking to her roughly, whatever. So that was the clip. I don't remember what school that was or anything. We probably have to check the chat. But my conversation piece about that was, kind of just like a poor or inappropriate coaching at all levels. Because, even in college too, there are coaches that, the way they speak to you and stuff, especially like, during a loss or a moment of vulnerability, they're there to challenge your manhood and things like that. I don't know where coaches, uh, find the gall to think that they can do that. One, especially to someone's daughter, two, to, a man who is 6'2", 6'3", 250 pounds or whatever. It's like, bro, you could get punched in the eye and it could all be over for you. Um, I think that these, coaches, especially, the ones who are older, in their late 40s, early 50s plus, um, I think regardless of how efficient they are with the teams that they're given, I do believe that their conduct does need to be reviewed, and we need to definitely move away from that, that toxic type of coaching culture. Like, yes, I've done a little bit of coaching. Yeah, I'm gonna yell at my kids and stuff, but I'm not gonna do anything crazy. I'm not gonna put my hands on them. I'm not gonna challenge their manhood. I'll be like, hey, I've coached you for whatever a year now. The way that you're playing, is that how we play? No, go sit down. Someone else is going to take your place. And, when you're ready to play and be the person who I know that you can be, you can play again. It's little things like that. Like, you're still getting your point across, but you're not attacking their psyche. And I don't want to say that that's like, or you're physically touching them. I don't want to say that it's to make them weak or anything like that, because that's not what that is. It's still having enough respect for them, but also establishing boundaries too.
I agree. Tay, what was you gonna say?
I was just gonna say, like, as a woman, like I've mostly had men coaches, and it's just like there are some I think that don't really realize exactly how much more care you have to take sometimes when you're addressing women as well, because it's like you're now setting a precedent almost that it's like okay for things like this to happen. You did this in front of cameras, in front of other people, and like shout out to the teammate for stepping in and defending her, because as a parent, if I'm watching that, I'm on the court. You got me fucked up if you're putting your hands on my dog. Like,
Right.
I agree with Tay. I was surprised he didn't leave. Like, I'm surprised the viral clip wasn't him getting his ass whooped.
Bro,
right.
for real, everybody would have jumped in. It would have
It
been
would have just been
me.
bink, bink, bink,
What?
bink, bink, bink. Let that happen. What?
And it's like, as women, we already face so much criticism in sports kind of as it is, because we're not as good as men and things like that. So you as a man going up to a and again, I don't know if it was high school or college, but
They appear to be in high school. I need to rewatch the clip.
I was gonna say that's
Uh,
even worse. Like she's a child.
yeah, it says New
Yeah.
York high school basketball coach fired after pulling player's ponytail.
Good. Pack that
So,
in up. So it's crazy to me because like even in college, like I'll speak to my experience. We had a coach who was very maybe I shouldn't talk about this, but he spoke weight, things like getting too involved in like our personal lives and things. And it's just like you cannot say that to women. We are already like sensitive in that regard. And it's like and if you're speaking to, hey, I want you to come to a couple extra sessions to work on this. There's a way to address things like that, but you can't say, yeah, you're too big, so you've got to lose weight and hit the gym. Like that's you can't say that to a woman. We're gonna shut down. Like people react to different things like that. There are certain triggers, and we're already looked at and viewed to we have to look a certain way, act a certain way, think a certain way, and things like that. So, and you as a man, if you aren't your damn self looking thin, you need to keep your mouth shut, because that's crazy. Who have the nerve to judge us who we're working out 3 times a day, eating next to nothing, and you're judging what we eat on trips after games, after we've just played 90 minutes at the highest level in college. Like that's crazy.
Yeah, you done burned 1,000 calories
Right.
or
Like,
more,
so
depending,
if I want a
whatever your
Cinnabon,
sport
I'm gonna
is.
eat a damn Cinnabon.
Big
Guess what?
facts.
Tomorrow it's
I
gonna
don't
be
blame
burned
them now.
in the morning session. Like, what do you mean? So it was just very like seeing that is just like like my heart goes out to her because it's like you experience things like that and that's how you low-key lose the love of the sport sometimes. If you don't have a good coach, it affects your mindset moving forward in every game, every practice. You're wondering like, is he gonna do this? Is this coach gonna do the same thing to me? Am I gonna be belittled for being upset, being passionate about the game? That's crazy. So seeing that like hurt because it's just like you being there and like I had a really aggressive coach in college or sorry in high school and a lot of parents didn't agree with it, but it's like I honestly respected him so much because a lot of times it was like really he's joking and but people kind of see him or hear him and think it's like think the worst and it's like I loved my high school coach. Like he was great, he was amazing. And
because he had a good like middle ground, like he didn't cross the line.
no, he never crossed the line.
Exactly.
I mean, parents just kind of hear a man yelling at their daughter and are like, "Oh, I don't like him. He's too mean." And it's just like, at some point, there has to be some type of character building and grow some thick skin. You're gonna be yelled at. If I miss a game-winning goal and that's something not something I ever do, like, yeah, he's gonna get on my ass about it. So it is what it is. But it's like as a player, as someone who is going to deal with this, if I want to play at a higher level and this and that, I have to deal with being able to be yelled at or held accountable for my actions.
Correct.
Exactly. Which is
rip a girl's ponytail and yank her.
Yeah, I don't know what was going through his mind there.
He knew the right child. He knew whose parents wasn't about to, because man,
and that's what I'm
the
saying.
Wrong
like,
parent will really have made him pay for it. And you said it perfect. And I think it's in all aspects of life. A bad leader can really, really mess up your love of the game.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
That for me, I was very discouraged in playing after a while. Like he's telling several girls how they look isn't good and their grades aren't good enough. Mind you, we have like 3.5, 3. We have the highest GPA out of every sports team. Like it's crazy. It was never enough for him. And it's just like when you go through experiences like that with that mentality, like everything I do isn't good enough, that affects you as a person. So I lost my love for soccer after a while and I had to find it again because after that I was like, I don't want to touch a soccer ball. Like
you got to know your athlete. All the great coaches know their athletes. You look at it, they know what talent that they have. Whether you look at guys like Phil Jackson, to be able to manage a Michael Jordan, a Scottie Pippen, and a Dennis Rodman along with 12 other guys. You look at Nick Saban or even Bill Belichick to handle the amount of personalities that they had to over 20 years span to get the success they had. You have to know your athletes. If you have that my way or the highway, you end up like a George Karl. You end up with a some regular season success and just a whole bunch of stories to tell, but it didn't really add up to nothing except some pictures of you yelling on the sideline. You know what I mean? You got to know your athletes. And because like you said, yelling isn't always a bad thing. You can yell and be saying something effective.
Right.
You can talk and be saying some bullshit, and that will turn the people off way more than the yelling did, and vice versa. Sports is one of those unique things where it doesn't matter how it's said. It's more a matter what is said.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I was going to say the scariest thing about that is the fact that he felt so comfortable to do that.
Yeah, that definitely wasn't his first time. Yeah.
How do their private practices go if girls have to go to the office? It's like it makes you wonder, like if you're so comfortable to do that in front of an entire
everyone, cameras, everything.
Yeah. That's crazy. So I don't know. I'm glad he got fired. He got exactly what he deserved, and I hope that girl, doesn't lose her love for the game and is, can bounce back from that and not let it affect her too much. But like shit like that can really affect women.
Yeah, yes, especially women. I mean, anyone, but yes, especially women.
Yeah, anybody.
And that's why, I've never been comfortable, coaching girls, just because, I I don't know if I know how to handle them correctly, so I haven't actually bothered. But like, I've coached 7th and 8th grade boys basketball. And they're young kids, and just like the way that they conduct themselves and like the jokes that they make and stuff, like I allow them to mess around and have fun. But when it's time to work, it's time to work. If I notice there are flaws in our game, like, hey, we're gonna fix that. And like I've said before, it's about delivery, it's about communication. As a coach, you're not just a coach, you're a friend, you're in some cases you could be a parental figure, a mentor, whatever it is. You're supposed to use your position to make someone better. You're not supposed to abuse it in any way. So the fact that
Yeah.
people are out there doing that is absolute nonsense.
Yeah, I've never
It's like
coached.
you're lucky. You're lucky enough to be able to be in that position. Like not everyone can do it. Not everyone knows how to. So to be lucky enough to be there and to be successful, you've got to maintain that by being the best version of yourself so that you can have these kids be the best version of themselves.
Right.
Yeah, there is a difference. I've never coached women either, but I can say in boot camp, I was a leader of my division, and we had a sister div. So basically, you just brought in those 40 sailors with ours, and it was 80 something of us. Point being, I had to learn as I go. The way I would talk to the guys when it was only all guys, there was never a problem. They never thought I was a dickhead for it or anything. Because when I was yelling, the shit that I was saying, I wasn't just yelling to yell. The rare times I did have to get loud, I wasn't just doing it to do it. You know what I mean? But I was saying effective shit that we needed to hear. You know what I mean? Like if I'm yelling, like, yo, you're fucking us up. Yo, you're getting us all beat. Yo, weren't you just in there bitching the last week about you miss your kids? Now you're about to get fucking kicked out for doing some stupid shit in boot camp, Nick. I can talk to a man that way, and they just gonna, you know what, you right. I needed that. Where it was when I was with Sister Div, the first like week or two I was doing it, and it was really like, yo, this dude is a dick. Like, why would you talk to me like that? And I had to really understand, like, okay, I can't tell you guys, shut the fuck up. What I have to say is, hey, if you guys don't stop talking, I'm going to get my ass beat. So I would really appreciate it if you guys can just wait till you're in your own division by yourselves and then just get your own ass beat. And it was like a night and day. All of a sudden, they were like, all right, you're right. I don't want, and then all of a sudden it's, shh, I don't want to be the one that gets his ass beat. So I did learn women and men are way different in coaching. And I was like, bro, I can only imagine the difference if I had to coach like a basketball team or some shit like that.
Oh, man.
Yeah, like, guys, even Rand, tell me if I'm wrong. It was effective. I low-key appreciate it. But in the Navy, bro, tell me if I'm wrong. They have no problem walking straight up to you in your face and be like, yo, you getting fat. When you plan to lose that?
Oh, yeah.
Like, yeah, you're fucking, and they'll pull on your
All
shit.
the
They'll be like,
time.
yeah, look at this. See how tight it's starting to fit? Yeah.
Be in the pit crying.
Are you already working on that? What's your story? You already planning to lose that?
Shit.
And you're just like,
Yeah. Shit.
I just started meal prepping. Actually, you got me.
The worst part about it is it's not even the men that's saying that shit to you. It's the women that was saying that shit to you.
Yo, it's the girls that will say that, and they don't even have rank or nothing. It's like, yo, who are you talking to?
Like,
unacceptable.
Man.
One of them I did check when Chief Ringwald did that time when they gave her the fitness whatever. In the military, we have fitness. We have designated fitness days, and each command has its own leader. So in our own form of DEI bullshit, there has to be a woman leader as well because there's women in the command. So she could measure you with the tape. She could do all that stuff.
Yeah.
But no matter what shape she's in, there has to be one woman. So she's the only chief. She got the job. Laird, y'all remember when I was bodybuilding, right?
Yeah.
When I was like stressed all the time, like fucking 8% body fat, all this. The Navy is very, very strict with their BPI. So because I was bodybuilding,
which is weird because BPI isn't even anything accurate, but continue, sorry.
Yeah, BPI, BMI, whatever. But the point being is because I had muscle weight, for my height, I was considered overweight. Everyone in the command, Nigel, you know this. Everyone in the command thought that was a joke at the time. We're like, nigga, clearly Coleman is not out of shape, bro. Like, what are we talking about? It was almost a joke that they wanted to put me in the extra PT class.
I was fat.
So
I had to be in
trainer,
that PT class.
you was with me in that class. It was a joke that I was in there. They would even, I would show up some days and they'd be like, nigga, are you in the right class? Are you leading the class? What the fuck's going on?
Are you
the point being, the one chief that was in charge, she was feeling herself. She forgot you're only here by technicality. And I had to call her out because she was sitting there pressing me one day about what's your diet. I need a breakdown of what you eat, this and that and the third. I'm like, Shorty, my trainer is in this command as well. I can just tell you guys what I eat. Literally in this command is one of my trials. Like, I bodybuild, I meal prep. I can just give you my calendar of what I eat. And she was, oh, well, you got to do this, that, and the third. The lady used to eat Arby's every single day. And this day, as she's sitting there lecturing me, her husband is dropping off either it was her 4 for 4 from Wendy's or her daily Arby's. And I just snapped, yo. I'm on like month 6 of no carbs, no sugars. Rand, you know how you remember how quick I used to snap back then, yo. I crashed the fuck out that day, yo, in front of all the maintenance control. And they couldn't do nothing but laugh. I was like, you are really trying to come at me about my diet. Lift your shirt up. Do this. Do this right now. Let's go stomach for stomach. Let's just do this. Because you want to talk about my diet as you're shoving Arby's down your throat, and you want to talk about my diet right now. So let's do this. Everybody in here, let's just lift our shirt up. Let's go stomach for stomach. We're going to see who's fat up in here.
Yeah, I remember this.
Let's go stomach for stomach is insane.
You sitting there looking like a fat, sloppy blob, and you want to talk. You feeling yourself because you got some little leadership. You know damn well if the roles were reversed, I would not be allowed to talk to you like this. I would be in leadership training. You know you're not allowed to talk to Brittany in that type of tone and say that, you get the fuck out of here. Brittany talking that hot shit now, yo. Get the fuck on out of here, yo. Suck my... I ain't gonna say it. We on YouTube still, but y'all know I was going, damn it.
Out of bounds.
The weight standards and stuff, those things are all so inaccurate now because we're not built like sticks anymore. People go to the gym. Being 6 foot, 210 pounds, you know, that's like the new, like, yo, that guy, pause, is probably huge. Compared to, you know, being 6 foot, you know, 165 pounds back in, you know, 1985. And bro, we're past that. Like we're going to the gym now. We're doing stuff. Even at my peak, playing football in college, my BMI was what, 32 or something like that. I was 6'2", 215 pounds. I benched what, 385. I squatted 535 and I ran a 4.
Fuck your shit.
I was not obese by any means, like whatsoever. There was no obesity there. That was just me being an overly muscular and fit human being. Like these numbers and charts that we all use now, they're so outdated.
And the point was proven because
updated.
The only comparable person who fit my height in the proper weight, remember Timber?
Yep.
So I was like, yo, you got me who technically I'm out of shape, and then a dude who you wouldn't trust to guard shit, okay? You wouldn't trust him to guard a preschool. And you gonna tell me, because of some bullshit standard, I'm out of shit. Don't get the fuck up out of here. Yeah, moved on with my life. Yeah, as you can see clearly, no longer active duty. I had fun while I was there. I did appreciate the fact that they weren't scared to tell you, hey, you get a little too comfortable, you getting fat whenever you plan to lose that. There's no other job that would rip that Band-Aid off like that in the world. You know? Not even cops, I don't think, can do that. You know?
Like, shit, I know in boot camp for me, we had I was in like 2 different divisions. My first division was all males. So of course, my little, trainers, they was heavy on the like insults. I got to my next division, it was integrated men and women.
So they couldn't do the insults like that no more.
So here's the funny thing. Because, in every integrated division, you have to have female officers, petty officers. So
yeah,
the male officers, they would just like when we was in, like you said, in the men, when it was only just the men. Oh yeah, they was insulting the shit out of us. But when we get
Talking
together,
that shit.
but when we got together, they wouldn't. But the
It got
female
woke all of a
officers,
sudden. As soon as the women came in the room, all of a sudden, yo, we was by the book, yo.
but when I tell you, when them female officers, man, when they came around, they didn't give a fuck. When they was with the girls, they would talk shit. When they was with the guys, they were talking even more shit because they had a point to prove. Like, yeah, you might be a dude, but I still whoop your ass. Kind of point is what they was doing, and it was hilarious.
And I respected the women division leaders, whatever we called them back then, who kept the same energy for the guys and the girls. I just didn't respect the ones who would be like super like soft around the girls, and then them themselves you couldn't say shit. But because they got a sudden authority, all of a sudden they want to pop shit at the dude.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, the word fat triggers you. It's like, yo, come on, shorty. What are we doing right now? Let's stay in our lanes, please. But now you see Leah's an RDC, bro. She was born for that job, nigga.
What? Yo.
Nigga, we all arrived to the fleet together. She was bossing us around like she was a cheat. That's like, this we all knew. Relax. Andrew, 19, you the youngest of the group. Shut up. What are you doing?
Bro, shout out to the homie Lee. She done put some second
beats. I love Lee. Lee was the bossy little sister, bro. She been bossing us around since forever, nigga.
She was like, what are y'all doing? Hey, what are you doing? Like, telling us what the fuck to do. The fuck? Got my face.
But yeah, going back to the mistreatment of women. So then I followed up that with what was it, Stanford Cardinals, their head coach, Troy Taylor, yes, and how he was fired for mistreatment of female staff members. Did y'all also happen to hear that by any chance? No, yeah.
No, what happened?
No.
Yeah, so I guess he was like harassing and bullying female staff members on who worked with the football team. And Andrew Luck, he's I guess the head of athletics or whatever there. Like he found out and he ended up firing them. First of all, I think he was on the chopping block anyway because they were 3-9 for like the last 2 seasons, and this just happened to be part of their reason, or well, they just used this as a reason to fire him. But it was like, our team's shit and you're not doing your job, and now you're allegedly harassing women as well.
Yeah, like bro, what is something? Yeah. Something's got to give, bro. Your mind is all over the place. Your focus is fucked up. You messing with the women on the staff and losing. Like,
yeah.
Nigga, what type of victory lap are you taking? 3-win season.
Yeah. So ESPN reported, and they had said that he had been investigated twice during the 2023 season over allegations of, quote, hostile and aggressive behavior, as well as personal attacks against female staff members. So that's why they ended up firing him.
Honestly, dudes that do that shit in the workplace to women, like you're already a pretty fucked up individual for making someone's work life hell. But to double down on it, if you're part of an unsuccessful company, sport team, it's like, bro, your focus is really fucked up. Like, stop being horny for a second, nigga. Focus, bro. Y'all niggas are losers. Nobody is trying to sleep with you. Get back in the gym. But now we know why the company or the team wasn't successful, bro. Your focus is all fucked up, nigga. Like, stop being a hornball for a second and get back in the gym.
And then, because he knew that, remind you, right? This is your typical white man in a position of power. A woman who was a woman who's a compliance officer said that she had found 7 minor NCAA infractions, and she was going to have to put them on his record, and he tried to get her removed from her assigned duties. And it's like, so you already know that you're wrong, and instead of apologizing for your actions and making strides to move forward, you then basically are like, hey, you know what, who's this person who's making my life difficult? Oh, them? Yeah, let's try to get them out of here. Like, first of all, what are you doing? Why are you going to try to remove someone whose job it is to make sure that rules are being followed? And it's not like, oh, it was one person. Apparently, again, this is all from ESPN and what's AP, Associated Press. Yeah.
Yeah, Associated Press.
Yeah, they have 20 current and former staffers who cooperated in the 2 separate investigations against Taylor for his behavior. So, bro, you got 20 people saying that you are not a good person.
Right.
Your chances are you're not a good person. You know?
Yeah.
So it's
and a loser.
I was gonna say Title IX exists for a reason. Like,
yeah, dude, it's there to protect everyone. It's there to protect
you can't just
players,
treat people
staffers, coaches,
however the way you want.
whoever it is.
That's crazy.
Some of these people got to learn the hard way. Examples must be made.
Thanks, Cam.
Mm-hmm.
No problem. No problem. Y'all know I'm a feminist, so these topics, y'all. I ain't afraid to tackle it head on.
Everyone should be a healthy feminist. Notice I said healthy, but you know what? Now that I say that, let me not open that door.
Yeah.
All right.
This nigga.
Doesn't somebody have plans? We gotta go.
Yeah, I was gonna say, do we have anything else to talk about? Yeah. We've been here chatting away.
That's why.
I was just gonna go to LA Fitness and bullshit, do my little chest day real quick. That's about it.
You got.
I ain't got shit to do though. Huh?
You got to hoop at LA Fitness too.
I gotta start hooping. I don't hoop.
It's
I
good
haven't hooped
cardio.
in years.
That's
it
really
is.
We're just there for the cardio.
Nah, I be lifting. I'm trying to. I got the best compliment too when I was getting fitted for the suit because they got all. I didn't realize Men's Warehouse has all my measurements since prom.
And your measurements haven't changed since prom?
No, they have.
No,
but the thing is, I went to like 6 or 7 proms, so they have a natural progression through my adulthood. Well, no, that wasn't adulthood. That stopped at like 19. But you know what I'm saying? Because I had to rent something for a wedding. But point being, the lady was like, "Wow, your waist hasn't really changed much since like 2013, but your shoulders, oh my gosh, we gotta get you to a new section." I was like, stop, girl, go ahead. What do you want to do this? Get like this, you know what I'm saying? What's up?
This feeling himself.
She was like, "Yeah, no, you were the last fit jacket we had before I would have had to go tailor you a big and tall jacket." I was like, "Girl, you go ahead, stop."
Edit this out.
She was like, "Yeah, you're just tall enough where you can still wear the short jacket. We don't have to get the too tall, but you're just skinny enough. We could get the, go too wide." I was like, "Lady, come on. You all know you my mama friend. But what's up?"
You have to be my mama friend.
Oh no, but any other topics before we wrap up? Anybody have anything else?
We loosely covered Carson Beck and just his string of drama in Miami.
What?
Didn't he get like robbed or something?
Yeah, he got robbed. Him and his girl got their cars stolen. Apparently he cheated on his girl. Yeah, he's in Miami doing nigga shit.
That one isn't really that part isn't really a new, like, if it's not painfully obvious in 2025, newsflash, if you're dating a Division I athlete who's making millions of dollars on top of that, they're gonna cheat on you.
Even if he ain't making millions, he cheating. Either way.
That nigga cheating. Come on now. He's one of the biggest names in the entire country for that sport.
D1 athlete here. I know. Cheater.
That is community. That is community property. It's community property, though. Like, come on now. It is what it is. That's property of the NCAA until otherwise.
They're not having a good time at all down there. The relationships on the rocks. Again, cars stolen. And then, like, I don't know, they've got some, like, mismanagement of NIL deals or something. Some NIL deal crap I think I saw loosely isn't going the way that it's supposed to. It's just, it's
because Miami has forever built and been run by drug dealers and scammers and shit. All jokes aside, you look at their documentaries, you look at some of the boosters throughout the years, Miami is literally built on that stuff. So it's not a surprise that now that they legalize NIL, yeah, you're probably going to see some headlines involving payment and players and shit like that.
Yeah.
That's the only reason. That's the only reason that kept them out of that BCS bowl in, what was it, 2000, 2001?
Yeah.
When they ended up letting it be like Florida versus Ohio State or some. It was one of them games we didn't really care about as much.
Mm-hmm.
But that's why. Always.
They've always just allowed them to run rampant and do whatever they want. Oh, last thing I had just seen, some kid, I think from Georgia, he was caught doing like 107 on some highway somewhere. I literally just saw that like yesterday. It's like,
yeah, we're gonna have to do. We're gonna have to do a whole
speeding.
episode to cover Georgia's team and their traffic violations.
Yeah.
They in Hellcat country.
Bro,
University of Mopar. But
I mean, I love speeding just as much as the next man, but come on now.
I'm dead. But before we lose track of time, it's been a good pod. We got a nice 3 hours worth of content in.
Yes, we do.
We got some topics that we definitely gonna have to come back to next episode, including Mopar University down south. But I appreciate y'all again.
Yeah.
I was about to say, I was like, we ain't got no theme music. I was like, what's she dancing to?
That was just me in my own little world.
And we need to get some theme music though.